All right, meanwhile, the White House, of course, is facing serious new questions about what President Obama knew about those death benefits that are not being paid to the families of our fallen soldiers and Marines. But one question stands out in this growing controversy. Are we abandoning America's heroes? Here's the head of the charity group donating money now to cover those death benefits during this government shutdown.
These families are America's families. You know, when their loved one raised their right hand in oath, that oath was two ways. They were going to defend this nation with their lives as necessary. If they came back wounded, we as America had to make sure that they were healed, whether mental or physical. If they lost their lives in doing so, it was up to us to take care of their loved ones.
That's the man who runs the Fisher House. They've stepped in a big way, too. Pete Hegseth, CEO of Concerned Veterans of America. Ralph Peters, author of Heller Richmond, and a Fox News strategic analyst. Gentlemen, good day to both of you. Hi, Pete, what do you make of this now? I mean, we're taking money from a private charity to pay this? I mean, it makes your head spin. It does make your head spin. It's an outrage. It is an abdication of the responsibility this government made to every soldier and Marine and anyone that serves, that if you do lose your life on the altar of freedom for this country, we will care for your family. And it is unfortunately being used as a pawn by this administration to get an advantageous position on the shutdown. You think that's it? It was the World War II monument, it's VA benefits. Now it's this. This president right now, through executive order, he's used executive order and exemptions before, could with a stroke of a pen restore this funding. There's no doubt about it. He has not, because he's trying to prove a point, and it's veterans and military families that suffer for it. That is quite an accusation, Pete, and I want to bring in Ralph right now. Do you agree? As you know, the House passed some legislation, 425-0, to help these heroes get their death benefits, but it's sitting in the Senate. Do you agree that the president could make a phone call or with the stroke of a pen fix this right now?
Yeah, it never had to happen. Allison, if I may, let me just thank Pete for the wonderful work he and his organization are doing for veterans. Now, as far as this issue goes, we will probably never know exactly who decided this was a good idea to suspend these payments, because this is the most secretive White House in history. I mean, Barack Obama, he makes Richard Nixon look like Julian Assange. But I agree with Pete, I firmly believe that a political commissar, either in the White House or imposed on DOD, and there are plenty of them, thought this would be a great way to inflict pain, which is the White House policy. The shutdown has to inflict pain, and to embarrass the Republicans. I think it backfired terribly on them. Yeah. They don't know what to do, and Jay Carney will not even tell us what the president knew and when he knew it.
Pete, I heard you say yes when the colonel was speaking there. What we don't know is whether or not the White House lawyers were involved in this. What we do know, the Pentagon lawyers knew about it, Justice Department lawyers knew about it. You saw Ed Henry yesterday, right? I mean, he was going after Jay Carney, trying to nail it down, and he could not. And I understand moments ago, I mean, they had a similar exchange. If we get a moment, we'll play that for you. But I mean, you've got to figure out, I mean, when the White House was aware that this was a possibility. You'd have to pull one of those Hillary Clinton willful suspensions of disbelief to believe the White House didn't know at some point this would be an issue, and yet they could pick up the phone right now and call Harry Reid in the Senate and say, Senator Reid, pass that bill right now because it's an outrage. And they won't and they can't because, as Colonel Peters said, they want to turn the heat up. They know people are outraged about this. They want them to be outraged. I think it'll backfire, but they think that outrage will be channeled towards Republicans, which plays to their political advantage. It is the Washington Monument strategy. It is, and they're using vets and military families to do it. And I think what it hurts the most are the troops serving the families who look at a commander-in-chief who could do more.
Ed Henry asked the question. Here was the answer from Jay Carney moments ago. The answer only now.
What I can tell you is that in his evening walk with Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough on Tuesday, the President raised the concern about death benefits not being paid to deserving families. And Mr. McDonough explained that the Office of Management and Budget and the Department of Defense were trying to find a solution, and that the Pay Our Military Act did not appear to fix it. The President directed McDonough to get creative and get it solved within 24 hours. The Department of Defense had been approached by the Fisher House Foundation, which had generously offered to make charitable donations to these families from its own funds.
So, Ralph, this was their solution. The president directed to get it solved in 24 hours, and the solution they came up with was to have the Fisher House step in and provide these $100,000 death benefits to our heroes. Is that a proper solution?
No, of course it's not, but we all should be proud of the Fisher House and what it really says about our country beyond the Beltway. The Fisher House did the right thing, but obviously, you know, it's hard for me because I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent. It would have been great if Obama would have been a great president, great for us domestically, great for our image in the world. But my God, I cannot believe that this is not political shenanigans. Allison, my rule in Washington and the Middle East is never blame a conspiracy for anything that can be explained by incompetence. But this debacle with suspending the death gratuity to the bereaved families is absolutely political skullduggery and shenanigans from the White House.
Gentlemen, thanks to both of you, okay? Colonel Ralph Peters, Pete Hegseth. Pete, thanks to you as well.
Thank you.